All right, everybody, welcome to the Hubbard County Planning Commission Board of Adjustment meeting. We'll call the meeting to order. To start the meeting, I will read off the meeting procedure. All persons in attendance at the Planning Commission Board of Adjustment meetings are expected to comply with the following meeting procedure. Thank you in advance for helping make this a manageable meeting. Copies of agenda item materials are available for public viewing on the table located at the back of the meeting room. These materials are not to leave the table so that others in attendance may view them also. Please turn phones to vibrator off during the meeting and conduct any sidebar conversations outside of the meeting room. Interruptions or other interference with the orderly conduct of the PCBOA meeting will not be allowed. Defamatory or abusive remarks are always out of order. Disruptive persons will be removed from the meeting. The chair may terminate a speaker's privilege of address if, after being called to order, the speaker persists in improper conduct or remarks. Written material concerning agenda items must be submitted to Environmental Services by 3:30 p.m. on the Wednesday immediately prior to the meeting date. Written materials will not be accepted after this deadline or at the meeting because the PCBOA will not have had sufficient time to review them prior to the meeting. Such material must state the agenda item for which it is being submitted and the name and address of the submitting party. Planning Commission business is conducted first, followed by Board of Adjustment business. The chair will call the meeting to order and explain the meeting procedure. The chair will read each agenda item into the record and ask the applicants to come forward to the presenter's table, state his, her, or their name and their addresses for the record, and explain his, her, or their request. The PCBOA will then discuss the agenda item with the applicant. The chair will then ask for public comment on the agenda item. To facilitate an orderly and efficient meeting, there is a 3-minute speaking time limit per speaker per agenda item unless the chair allows the speaker additional time. The chair may terminate the speaker's privilege of address if, after being called to order, the speaker persists in improper conduct or remarks. When the chair recognizes the speaker, he or she may approach the audience podium and microphone, state his or her full name and address for the record, and write such on the speaker log, and then share his or her comments. The audience podium microphone must be used by the recognized speaker because the meeting is recorded. A member of the public may not donate his or her speaking time to another speaker. A speaker should state his or her comments and address the issue, not the applicant's. All comments are to be directed toward the PCBOA board. Please do not repeat comments already made by previous speakers. The chair reserves the right to ask a group with similar comments to appoint a spokesperson. If written comments have been submitted to the PCBOA, please do not read them aloud during the meeting as they are already part of the record and copies thereof have been given to the board. After everyone wanting to speak on an agenda item has done so, the chair will close the public comment period on the agenda item. No further public comment will be taken after this point. The chair will give the applicant an opportunity to address issues raised during public comment. The PCBOA will then continue its discussion of the agenda item and the chair will entertain a motion on it. The PCBOA may make a motion to pass, deny, or table the item. Once a motion is made and seconded, the PCBOA board will develop findings of fact for conditional use permit and variance applications and then vote on the motion. Once a vote is taken on the agenda item, the PCBOA will move on to the next agenda item. Meetings commence at 6:00 p.m. and continue until all items have been heard or until 10 p.m. No new agenda items shall be considered after 9:45 p.m. The PCBOA may, at its discretion, continue an item that is on the floor at 10 p.m. Any remaining agenda items shall be continued to another date and time, preferably the immediately following Tuesday at 6 p.m., and no further public notice will be provided of such a meeting continuation. The PCBOA, through the chair, may modify these procedures prior to the meeting or an agenda item. Thank you. So our first order of business is to approve the meetings from the June 23rd meeting.
This is Veronica. I have no problems with the meeting minutes, and I would make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
This is Tim. I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Tim, how do you vote?
This is Tim. I vote aye.
Ken?
This is Ken, I vote aye.
Veronica?
Veronica, I vote aye.
Mike?
Mike, I vote aye.
And this is Larry. I also vote aye. So the minutes from the June meeting have passed. There should be no planning commission items, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we will move right on to the Board of Adjustment. The first variance application we have is,
We've got the meeting minutes to
oops, I'm sorry.
deal with the minute. Sorry.
This is Tim. I'll move to approve the June 23rd Board of Adjustment minutes.
This is Ken, I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve the Board of Adjustment minutes. Tim, how do you vote?
This is Tim, I vote aye.
Ken?
This is Ken, I vote aye.
Veronica?
Veronica, I vote aye.
Mike?
Mike, I vote aye.
And this is Larry, I also vote aye. So Board of Adjustment minutes have passed. Now we can move on to the variance applications. Okay, so the first variance we have is application 24-V-25 by Richard Anderson. This variance is going to be tabled because of a change in the variance application, so that one we will address in the August meeting. And that should be all we need to do with that, correct? Okay, very good. So moving on to the next one. We have variance application 25-V-25 by Thomas and Bonnie Miller, part of government lots 3 and 4, and part of the north 1/2 of the south 1 east quarter, section 34, township 141, range 34, Lake Emmett Township on Beaver Lake, a recreational development lake, parcel 16.34.01500. Applicants are requesting a variance from sections 502.1 and 503 of the Shoreline Management Ordinance for a proposed accessory structure to be located within the 150-foot ordinary high water mark structure setback and the 30-foot bluff crest setback. Would our Millers here, if you could come forward to the presenters table, please?
Mr. Chair, this is Veronica speaking. May I make a comment before we proceed?
Certainly.
Just wanted to comment, I believe this is the application that there was just a typo error and it's a natural environment lake that Ken pointed out. I believe that's correct. And when you read it, okay, perfect.
So instead of a recreational development lake, it is a natural development lake?
Yes.
Okay. Get that verbiage right. State your name and address for the record, please.
Bonnie Miller, 19059
You
Grouse
speak to the
Road.
microphone, pull it towards you and speak to it, please.
Bonnie Miller,
You can pull it towards you.
Bonnie Miller, 19059 Grouse Road, Park Rapids.
Tom Miller, 19059 Grouse Road, Park Rapids.
Okay. And if you could give a brief statement to what you're looking for in the variance?
We are looking for a variance to put up a 8-foot by 10-foot wooden shed to house our lawn and garden equipment over the winter months.
Okay. Any board members have any questions initially? Seeing none, I will open to public comment. No public comment on this variance. I will close public comment. Okay.
Mr. Chair, this is Veronica speaking. I just wanted to comment that during lot views, the placement of the shed seems to be well screened, well vegetated and screened well from the lake. So I don't foresee any issues that it would be harmful to the lake at all. It's, like I said, well vegetated. It's not going to be any runoff created. I don't have any problems with their location and their request. It is modest in size. It's going to not be on slab, it's going to be on posts, is that correct?
That is correct. Yes.
This is Tim, I agree with that.
Veronica speaking as well, since this property is unique, that they're the only pretty much property owners on this entire peninsula, so it doesn't pose any threats to the neighboring properties either. So if you're ready for a motion, I'm prepared.
I would certainly entertain a motion.
Okay. This is Veronica speaking. I would make a motion to approve the application as presented and adopt the staff's findings of facts.
This is Ken, I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept or vote on this variance for Tom and Bonnie Miller. Ken, how do you vote?
Did you say Ken?
I said Ken, I'm sorry.
This is Ken, I vote aye.
Tim, how do you vote?
This is Tim, I'll vote aye.
Veronica?
Veronica, I vote aye.
Mike?
Mike, I vote aye.
And this is Larry, I also vote aye. So the variance is approved. You will get a letter from Environmental Services telling you what happens next.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
Hey, Veronica, can you pull this closer to you and speak to when you do? 'Cause I cannot hear
Mike, you
you.
might need to grab your mic too.
Yes. Got it.
Okay, moving on. The next variance we have is variance application 26-V-25 by Paul Weiss, part of Government Lot 3, Section 13, Township 141, Range 34, Lake Emma Township on Lower Bottle Lake, a recreational development lake, parcel 16.13.02500. Applicant is requesting a variance from sections 502.2, 503, and 902 of the Shoreline Management Ordinance for a proposed accessory structure to be placed within the 30-foot bluff crest setback and for grading in a bluff impact zone. You're here, if you could give your name and address for the record, please.
Paul Weiss, 25375 Horn Drive, Park Rapids.
Lisa Weiss, same.
Very good. And a brief description of the variance you're looking for, please.
We're looking to build a 30-foot deep by 24-foot wide garage on the west side of, I shouldn't be just looking, I should just say it. Within the 30-foot setback from the top of the bluff, and it'll also be within the 100-foot from the high water mark. And I guess I'm not sure what else I need to say.
That pretty well covers it. Any questions from the board?
Could you give us some perspective on how much more impact to the kind of steep slope that's behind it would be if we asked you to move it all the way back to 30 feet from the top of the bluff?
I guess I didn't measure it out, but we were, with the contractor I'm working with, we were thinking at least $2,500 more.
Okay,
Probably moving to quite a bit more soil. Not probably, definitely moving to quite a bit more soil.
but you don't know how much. It looked pretty extensive, because
It gets steeper quick if we were to go to 30 feet.
okay.
The other problem with that is if we want to line up the garage door facing north, it gets difficult with where the property line sits on the north side of the parcel we just purchased.
Any other questions? I would open it for public comment. Seeing no public comment, we will close public comment. This is Larry. When we were out there on lot views, to me, it definitely looked like that's where this garage should go. And again, it's the least impactful place to put it, so I would be in favor of this variance.
This is Veronica speaking. I have the same comments during those lot views. It was agreed that seemed to be a level location with less impact, even though they are 12 feet from the crest of bluff.
This is Ken. One thing I might, although the bluff is fairly well vegetated, it did seem to me that to the southwest, or I guess you're calling it south, the left side, as you look at the lake, would be a good direction to direct any runoff. And I know what a condition would be worthwhile to ask that. I assume you're looking at it, it's gable this way when you're
Correct,
driving in.
correct.
So you could put gutters on each side and downspouts and run the water to the south to make sure it's directed away from the bluff. So I think I'd like to insert a condition that the gutters with downspouts that face and direct the runoff to the south.
Call it south.
You call it south. I tried to look at the arrow on your drawing and looked southwest, but south. Okay, if that's okay with colleagues.
Mrs. Veronica, that seems appropriate to me. Are you open to that?
Yes.
That's great. This is Veronica speaking. One more question. Do you have any intentions of having an apron on the front of that to drive in, or are you going to keep it? What is the driving trail? What is it going to look like? Is it going to be dirt? Is it?
You know, eventually like some type of crushed rock in there, but there'd probably be I'm trying to think what it's called on a standard front of a garage. There's usually a
Apron.
The apron.
You know,
Sure.
what, 4 or 5 foot apron
Yeah. Okay.
that sticks out. You know, I think we'd want that for safety, for, you know, having something to ramp up into it.
And you currently already have that in place here? Yes or no?
On the drawing?
Yes.
No,
No.
no.
Yeah, it doesn't have a dimension for the apron at all.
Okay. Eric, in the future, would he need to get a permit if he decides to do some type of concrete apron, since he's still in that bluff area?
Well, since you're talking about it now, I would just make sure, if you're comfortable with that, just make that noted in the record, and then when they get the permit, it's assumed that the apron is part of the permit for the garage.
So we need to spell out the size allowable for the apron, or what? Or,
Yeah, I'd give a max, so if you're okay with it going the width, say 4 feet or 5 feet, whatever it is, out in front of it.
Yeah.
so if we add that as a condition that it's full width, but no more than 5 feet depth?
Yep.
Okay,
So 24 by 5?
correct.
Okay. Okay, so this is Veronica speaking. So just for clarification purposes, condition number 1 would be gutters and downspouts to direct stormwater away from the lake. And condition number 2 would be the maximum allowed apron would be the 5 foot by 24 foot, if that's fine with the colleagues and yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
And let's just clarify that that's concrete apron. If you want to put crushed rock or something in, that'll be fine.
Yeah. Correct.
So, okay.
Okay.
All right, I would be open to a motion.
This is Ken. I'll make the motion that we accept application 26 feet 25 with the 2 conditions that Veronica read into the minutes. Okay.
Okay, this is Veronica. I second the motion. You're adopting the staff's findings of facts?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, yes.
We need the first one done.
Yes.
Okay, the need or desire to have a garage is a reasonable request. The location is reasonable and the only place on the lot to have it. To move it back to the 30-foot thing would make substantial impact to the hillside. Therefore, I believe that the request is in harmony of the official controls.
Okay, very good.
And accept 2, 3, 4, and 5 of the staff report.
Okay, very good.
Okay, this is Veronica. I second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept this variance. Tim, how do you vote?
This is Tim, I vote aye.
Ken?
This can I vote aye?
Veronica?
Veronica, I vote aye.
Mike?
Mike, I vote aye.
And this is Larry, I also vote aye. Your variance has been approved. You also will get a letter from Environmental Services telling you what's next.
Great. Thank you very much.
All right, the next variance is 27-V-25 by Howard and Mary Chenard. I hope I'm saying that right. Lot 16, Sky Manor, Arrow Estates, Section 9, Township 141, Range 35, Arago Township on Island Lake, a recreational development lake parcel 02.39.01700. Applicants are requesting variances from Part 1, Sections 502.2 and 503 of the Shoreline Management Ordinance for placing a proposed dwelling within the 30-foot plus bluff crest setback, and Part 2, Section 903.3 of the Shoreline Management Ordinance to place a driveway within the 10-foot side lot line setback. State your name and address for the record, please.
Yeah, Howard Chenard, address 11415 242nd Court East, Lakeville, Minnesota.
Okay. And a brief description of your variance application, please.
Well, the variance is to go into the bluff setback line, just 15 feet on the one corner of the house. The other corner of the house would be 25 back from the bluff top. And then the lot line would be onto the edge of lot 16, going to lot 17, running up to the edge of lot 17, which I do own lot 17. The main reason for the 15 feet into the setback is to spread everything out, basically, so we can keep the drain field for the septic in that middle, because I do want a loop around driveway. It just makes it easier to haul trailers and boats or whatever in. And then below that, it also keeps the secondary drain field area open too. Keeps us up on the top of on the flattest part of the lot there, and keeps us a little closer in line with the two neighboring houses, one on each side of us. Still with that corner, we're still 149 feet setback from the lake on that closest point.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
Your lot width's 100 feet, right?
Yes. Yeah, so that kind of makes it a little harder to fit everything in
But you do own the lot to
next
the
to it.
south, I guess.
Yes, yep, to the south.
This is Veronica speaking. How does this application compare to your previous application as far as the house plan goes from 2023 to the current?
Well, the house has gotten smaller. We shrunk it up to try to fit more on that top of the bluff. But then too, on that one, there was a U-shaped driveway, so it had two entrances in. And then that's kind of why we stopped that one, because then it gets into the township. Then you have to talk to the township for
The extra
two
driveway?
entrances,
correct.
yes.
But the size of the house, this old plan shows 24 by 30, and your new plan is what?
The new plan, the house is, what is the total width would be 56 by 56 this way through with the garage and everything.
Okay, so the old one I saw was the garage, so the first one was 56 by 30, or no, 68 by 30.
Yeah, the other one would have been, let's see, because it would have been a 3-stall garage instead of a 2. And I think we lost probably 4 feet on the length of the house that way too.
So it's slightly smaller.
It's slightly smaller. Went from about 2,000 square down to about 1,600 square.
Okay, thank you.
Why do you necessarily have to have the big circular driveway? Why can't you, this is Ken speaking, why can't you come directly into it, lined up with the road as it comes in? You could build a little bit of a turnaround area without having to go all the way around.
Well, it just makes it easier if you've been down that road. It's very tight. The road isn't very big. None of the neighboring spots really have anywhere to turn around. If you ever do come in with a trailer, it's very difficult to turn anything. So I wanted a driveway to loop up, so when you're bringing in the trailer, you could bring it up, unload it at the top, and then you can bring it right back down. It's much easier to just
You know,
run it through.
it's very hard without any dimensions on your drain field and tank for me to make any judgment as to whether that road has to be that far out. Clearly, one of your big issues is wanting no setback from the side lot.
Um,
And so without dimensions on your drawing, it's hard for me to tell, why can't you move that in 10 feet?
I think you should have received a drawing from Thieland also. And I don't know if Lenny put that on there, but for a 3-bedroom house, 3 bath, he said it's 3 runs of 40 feet.
I think the design, this is Tim speaking, I think it said you needed 153 lineal feet because you're using chambers. And looking at it, to me, I didn't know, was Leonard there when you had that proposed road mowed where you were gonna do that loop?
He's been out there, yes.
But did he know where that second road was?
Well, at first, on his first drawing, what he had was with it 10 feet over, pushing it, and he had the driveway just 10 feet onto the other lot, and we moved it 10 feet, and he said that would be okay as long as we kicked the other part of the driveway over closer to the lot on the other side, keeping our 10-foot setback on that side.
I seen some old stakes, so I'm just assuming that was the end of the drain field.
Yeah, the wooden ones.
Yes.
He had some wood ones in there.
And then I seen the iron stake where I thought that might be the property line.
Yes, that's the old markings of the property line, yep.
But I wasn't really sure, looking at that with that road, I couldn't determine either without it being clearly flagged, especially on your alternate site. Are you using any part of this site plan from Murray Surveying? That, from your,
Well,
of where everything's mapped out? Because it shows the
Well, that-
proposed drain field right up to the property line.
yeah, no, we didn't use that for this drawing, because that was with the old house.
Okay.
His drawing, you know, we used the lot
Shows
lines.
the
he came up
proposed
and did.
structure on, yeah, this one was a 2023.
Yeah, no, so the structure has, the house has gotten smaller since
Okay,
then.
but still everything else, like that electrical box, because I was looking at that transformer, and with the main coming up there, how would that work with the alternate septic site and your septic?
Well, right now, it's running around, because the house will be will be kind of over on the side. So it's down here, it'll come up around the septic field and up to the house. So that's just a cable, they can run that underneath and around. The builder, MCON, didn't seem to have a problem with it.
And moving and moving back, like if, we'll just move the drain field one way or the other, you have a road you've been using, which is disturbed soil that can't be used for a septic site. And so it got real confusing for me. I'm with Ken on that. I'm not positive about making a decision on what I know with the information I was given. I'd like to see the the main power even marked going up in there, and where the alternate site, the four corners of that with the flag.
The alternate site of the,
Septic.
oh, there are stakes down there. They're in the trees down at that bottom side.
Yeah, I didn't see any of that. I looked, but
Yeah.
I didn't see them.
Yep, there's,
And I just barely seen the ones that were broken off, the wood ones for the primary site.
yep. That was, well, we marked it quite a while ago, other than shifted it over a little bit.
This is Ken. What seems so obvious to me is why don't you administratively put the two lots together? Then you'd have all kinds of room for your driveway and your extra drain field or secondary drain field and so on. Why don't you just combine the two? They're both 100-foot lots. They're non-conforming lots. They're not the 150 typical ones. Why don't you just combine them administratively?
Well, because I don't want to develop that lot right now. I'd have no intentions of selling it. I just don't want to develop it either.
Well, all you would be doing is maybe running a driveway off onto it a little bit.
Yeah, but then it would still make it an undevelopable lot after that.
Well, I think that's to the point that's probably has us a little bit concerned is if you're building right up to that lot, the lot next door is 100 feet, it's gonna be very hard for someone to build a structure that doesn't fit very well because you've put your driveway right up to that lot line. If there were another structure there, we would definitely not be supportive of, I don't think, of that driveway being right on the property line. So. Any colleagues?
I'd like to open for public comment at this point. Seeing no public comment, I will close public comment. All right, any other questions from the board?
Yeah, this is Veronica speaking. I want to go back just a little bit. I do agree with you, Ken, that this is a little bit difficult to agree upon since, there isn't currently any living quarters on that other lot. But however, your 2023 application, can you, I do believe that you withdrew the application, is that correct?
Yes, we did.
And can you tell me why you withdrew the application?
Because we had it marked as a horseshoe driveway, and then that came up with the question that we'd have to talk to the township about having two driveways in.
And during that time, did you determine that you could build the house by permit if you moved it back without using a variance?
No, we were gonna go for the variance again, but we shrunk the house and we tried to get everything smaller to try to fit it in. And got rid of the U-shaped driveway in.
So there, you were able to meet the setbacks according to your letter to the environmental services, that you were able to get all setbacks met without needing a variance after all? According to staff records that we have here, you withdrew your application in 2023 because you met with your builder and your septic contractors. Is this the letter that email that you sent?
The last paragraph.
Yeah, I don't have that builder anymore.
Okay, but you did determine that you could build this house by permit, correct? According to your letter here that you sent to the Environmental Services Office?
I didn't, but because it still doesn't fit in. it still needs to, that driveway needs to be over and it needs to be spread up.
Okay, but without the driveway, though, you're able to build the house by permit
Without the driveway?
without that circular driveway, according to your statement here.
Without the circular driveway,
You can build the house by permit.
you probably could, yes.
Mr. Chenard, for me, it's very hard to approve an application where, for myself personally, where you can meet all the setbacks. And given you have provided that information, I cannot move forward with the application for, especially with the answer with number 3 that we have to have, which states, is the need for the variance due to circumstances unique to the property and not created by the current or prior property owners. There's not a reason that you cannot fit this A type of structure in your own words to meet setbacks. So I cannot move forward and personally approve this variance just because I cannot answer number 3 affirmatively, because you've stated prior that you can build it by permit.
Yeah, but not the way I want the driveway and stuff to wrap around. We can't.
This is Larry. That again gets back to, we have to come up with a yes for each of these 5 questions. And the driveway, there is room on that lot to do the driveway with a turnaround, possibly not a loop, but definitely space to do a back around, which I know is a pain, but in our world, why have the ordinance if we're not gonna follow it ever? And this would be a case to me that we can get by without having to give the variance.
This is Ken speaking. I have 2 problems. One is, I would really like to see a true dimension layout of that field and the driveway, so I really know what we'd be approving. This is not detailed enough. Second, definitely, to follow what Larry said, the 10-foot setback would require. I'm not as hung up with the 15 feet from the bluff line, since you're 149 feet from the lake and it's very vegetated. I'm kind of iffy there, but I definitely am not in favor of that driveway the way it is, and I would like to see a drawing that when it gets built, we know exactly where all the elements are, so. My 2 cents.
This is Tim. I agree with Veronica, and I didn't totally have my mind made up, but I was not satisfied with where I felt on that septic and that part, and so I agree that I wouldn't move forward with it either. I think you can do it by permit. And unfortunately, it's just one of them tough lots.
Any other questions? I would entertain a motion.
Okay, this is Veronica. I make a motion to deny the application as the need for a bluff setback variance due to the applicant's house plan is the reason for it, and there's plenty of room on the lot to meet the setbacks and build a variety of house plan styles. And I will adopt the staff's findings of facts.
Just Ken, I'll second the motion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to deny this variance. Tim, how do you vote?
This is Tim. I vote aye.
Ken?
This is Ken, I vote aye for denial.
Veronica?
Veronica, I vote aye.
Mike?
Mike, I vote aye.
And this is Larry. I also vote aye. So,
Thank you.
yep. Okay, moving on. Variance application 28 25 by Jeff Stacy, the east half of Lot 5 and Lot 6, and part of Lot 7, Beauty Point, Section 16, Township 140, Range 33, Nevis Township on Lake Beltane, a recreational development lake. Parcel 21.42.00610. Applicant is requesting a variance from Section 701 and 702 of the Shoreline Management Ordinance to intensify the non-conforming use of a non-conforming structure located in the shore impact zone. State your name and address for the record, please.
Jeff Stacy, address 24110, County Road 80, Nevis.
Very good, thank you. And Jeff, a brief description of your variance applied for?
The application is to put in a certified sewer into my boathouse for a recreational bathroom.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
Yeah, I'd start out with a few. The original location of your boathouse, was it on the same property?
Yep, yes.
And what was it originally used for?
The boathouse, when it was built in the early 1900s, was used for probably an old sailboat.
What was it currently being used for? I think you mentioned
Oh, currently?
then,
Oh,
that boathouse, before you moved it, it had a fish cleaning.
yep, it
piece.
had fish cleaning, and then we had a refrigerator in there, table, and then we stored boats and,
So
Or not
it was
boats,
basically
but-
storage.
yep, and to hang out down there and have a fridge and,
Okay. I didn't see any windows on it. Did you really hang out very much in it?
it had a big, if you have any old photos,
I don't think I could see an old photo where it showed from the lakeside.
there might have been if you go into the main house, if you go back in the history in the main house, which would be the next lot over, had a huge slider. So you could sit in there if it was hot out and that slider would slide open. That's where they used to put the old boat in.
Okay. And why did you want to move it?
Okay, so those pilars
Okay.
down there, you can tell it's starting to collapse and they were getting rotten. So I went to the county, asked them if I could fix it right where it was at, and they said no. They said I'd have to go through the DNR, and they said you'd be better off tearing it down and pulling it back out of the ordinary high water mark. So that's what I did. And the reason I didn't just push it straight back, when you guys were there, I showed you, I would have had to take down trees, and I didn't want to take those down. So that's why we moved it over the other way.
How far back would it have had to have been moved?
I think it was 15 or 20 feet
Okay.
to get outside the ordinary high water mark. And so that's what we did.
Okay.
And you can see right there.
Yeah. It's about half the width of the building to where the water, I don't know where the ordinary high water mark is relative to the lake level right now.
No, I was saying that sliding door.
Yes, no, I see that.
Okay.
So basically, the only access to the outside of the main structure is opening that door.
On the back side, there was a door, and then on the fish clean,
Yeah, no.
there was a
cleaning
door there
thing.
too.
Okay. Is that what the water was used for that was pumped in there?
To be honest, it was, so the house was built in the early 20s, we believe. So they pumped water out of the lake, and it went through this old contraption and shot it up to the house. So that, honestly, that's what originally was there, and then they pumped it into the boat cleaning area.
I thought I saw in one drawing that there was a spigot or something sitting next to it on that one side.
I have pictures. It was from the 1900s. It was like old school.
No, I mean,
It was pretty neat.
what was it like when you decided to move it? Was what I was looking.
Oh,
So I can't see, I'd have to look back at the drawings.
what did you mean?
Oh, yeah, here's one. It shows a water spigot right there. Is that what that is?
Mind if I get up?
Next to the electrical post? It should be in the packet. Right there. Was there water coming down there from your main house now, or what was that for right there?
I can't see that.
Okay. Very confusing.
Eric will get it up.
Eric's getting there.
He's getting close.
There.
Right there.
Right there.
Right
Back
there.
up.
Yeah.
Little higher.
Yeah, just, yeah, there you go.
Oops,
There you go.
there.
Oh, that's a lake pump, probably.
That's for the irrigation system?
Okay, that has nothing to do with the shed.
No,
Okay,
no.
so there wasn't water in the shed then?
There was, so if, I don't think we have a picture of it, but you can see on that side, there's water lines that ran up into the boathouse.
You had a fish cleaning,
Correct.
Yeah. But was that water source lake or from your main house?
That was from the lake.
Okay, so you just pumped it out of the lake. Okay,
And honest, yeah,
This is Mike. Your new slab, did you rough in all the plumbing?
so we put water into it, yep. And then for the sewer, yep.
In for a
It's-
toilet? and
It is
everything?
roughed in, yep. When I did my original plans, it was all in my original plans that I gave to the county when I applied for the permit. And I didn't think anything of it. I thought everything would be fine, so I applied for the sewer permit this spring. And that's when they told me I had to get a variance. And I didn't even think anything of it.
Yeah, because your permit
Except
is
your-
non-sewered structure, so.
Yeah, I didn't even, but they had my plans. I just didn't know that I needed to apply for that at that time.
except your building permit is very clear about the fact, no sewer structure. In other words, it clearly saying you should not have been roughing in sewer system, because a condition for this move and this build very clearly eliminated the possibility of it ever being sewered.
I didn't see that. And
Well,
that's
so
why
this-
I didn't move any
Right here in
farther.
your permit.
No, I didn't see it, or I didn't appear to me that it would have been an issue. Otherwise, I would have went back and applied for the variance then. I just roughed it in. After I roughed it in and got the building structure done and was ready, and I hired a contractor, then we went through the permit process for that, and then that's when it got kicked back.
this is Tim speaking. You hired a contractor to do what?
Well, so I called Don Untham to do a site plan for me.
Okay,
And then I hired Scouten, and Scouten did my permit for my sewer,
okay,
or he applied for it, and that's when he called me and he said, hey, you need a variance, we can't do this.
okay. So you didn't have a contractor that did any of the building, you did the building?
Yep, me and
Did you pour the concrete?
I did.
Did you do the electrical?
I didn't do the electrical.
Okay, but you did do the plumbing.
Yep.
And how much air did you put on the underground?
Oh, there's nothing connected yet.
No, but you have plumbing where you can connect to it.
Yeah, but it's just stubbed in. There's nothing in the floor, nothing to be pressure tested, because I haven't brought any water to it. You know what I mean?
How are you gonna, what are you gonna drill a hole through your concrete to set your toilet?
No.
There's a pipe there?
There's just a clean out pipe there, so nothing's connected.
And there's no fittings there?
No.
So you're gonna dig underneath your slab to connect to it?
Yep.
And your sink?
Yep. No, it's all stubbed out. Nothing's hooked up.
But the plumbing is under there and stubbed out?
Yep. Just the fitting for the toilet is plumbed in, so I'd have
And
to
a
dig.
shower?
I'd have to dig underneath, so it goes toilet, shower. They connect and they stub out, and then you would just stub in your line for your sewer.
So you finished your walls
No.
upstairs?
No, you seen it. It wasn't finished in there.
Okay.
So you're gonna put in vents in your walls for your plumbing?
Yep. There's a vent stack up through the ceiling. So like I said, everything's stubbed out there, but nothing was tied in.
See, in the state of Minnesota, you can't do that unless you're a licensed plumber. Are you a licensed plumber?
I'm a homeowner.
Are you a licensed plumber?
No, but a homeowner can do it.
No, you can't. Absolutely not. I'm a master plumber and I'm telling you, you can't.
Well,
And you can only plumb in your own house if you're living in it and you have a working bathroom, and you must do it by code. The one you did down there is a different lot and you don't live in it. So you can't do your own plumbing.
well, I didn't know that.
Yeah. You couldn't run that water line down there.
Eric, I got questions for I read somewhere in his thing that he said Demi was out there and approved everything he did. When this building permit was provided, what assumptions were made? No, let me back up. This to me is a water-oriented structure. We only allow water-oriented structures up to 48 square feet. They have to be 20 feet setback from the lake, and they can't be designed for human habitation, no water supply or sewage treatment, per 601.3 of our shoreline management ordinance, okay? How is it that he got a building permit to build this when the complete use was changed? It's no longer a fish cleaning house, it's no longer a storage thing, it's a habitable building 15 feet from the lake. And I understand that he could have rebuilt in the same location. Typically, something that's down a boathouse that's close to the lake like that in the shore impact zone, you're allowed to rebuild it, right? Okay, yeah, that's what our ordinance says. Okay, and when you rebuild it, if you say, well, I'll move it back out of the ordinary high water mark, that's kind of acceptable. But to pack it up and move it, I don't know how far down the beach, build it 15 feet from the lake with an altogether different use, I don't understand how he even got a building permit for that, let alone us now talking about him wanting to put in storage, a storage system, which is not even allowed by the permit. I mean, help me out a little bit.
Section 702 of the Shoreland Ordinance deals with non-conforming structures, and it allows a non-conforming structure to be rebuilt. And it would also, with the statute that accompanies that deals with non-conforming structures, you can move the structure further from the non-conforming setback so that he could move it further from the ordinary high, which he did. You can also move it laterally on the lot. There's nothing that says you can't do that so long as you meet side lot setbacks, which this does.
But
And
702 says needs a variance, it can increase the nonconformity, and it's got to be located out of the shore impact zone, or some of the conditions in 702, as I read it.
For an expansion, this was built to the same dimensions as what was previously there.
Okay,
So that's the key.
yeah.
And staff reviewed the application with me and asked questions relative to what they saw on the floor plans. I believe they also had some conversations with Jeff by the phone, if I remember right. And
Did
that's what led to the condition being placed on the permit that says non-sewered structure. Because staff felt that there wasn't any water using bathroom in the previous structure.
Is it's in our packet, there's a picture of the supposed structure and inside. What did your staff assume was gonna be put inside? When I looked in there, microwave, stove, refrigerator, counter, eating areas, and so on, that's far beyond the original use that it had. And I can't I mean, it kind of shows a bathroom here. You say it can't be there, and I can't tell what's in the side. Seems to me it's been overbuilt, even based on the drawings that were provided. What I'm trying to get at is we're talking about Seward, which was not allowed, but it seems to me what's already built is not in conformance with what the permit would have allowed. Because I don't know what it was, the permit, I can't tell what the permit was based on. I mean, other than a drawing that shows a Seward system and so on. I'm not trying to pick on it, but I'm wondering what people really thought was gonna be built there versus what he built.
That was the sketch that the county had, and that's exactly what that is built in there.
Okay, this is Veronica speaking. Since you, may I ask a question, Ken? I'm gonna ask a question real quick
No,
that might
I'm-
help us.
I'm-
So during the time, as staff has indicated, you had conversations with staff about the Seward structure. Fill me in on that conversation.
So I honestly don't remember. All I know is that, and maybe they did say, I would never call them a liar. Maybe they did say, hey, you're gonna have to apply for variance. Either way, I think maybe if they did, I forgot, and then when I got to this point, they said, hey, you still have to apply for a variance.
Okay, did they or did they not tell you you could not have sewer in there?
I honestly, they must have if I said anything. But that was the sketch that was given to them. And if I would have done it right away, nothing was in writing. That's where I just, maybe we didn't talk about it. And then when I got to that point, then that's when they said, hey, you have to apply for a variance. And so that's what I did.
But you didn't even build what this is. The old fish cleaning thing got moved to the left. So if this is what was approved, you didn't even build to this thing that was given a permit for.
No, they had that, and they also said that I can slide that to the other side. So everything,
Is that written someplace?
it's written on one of those, right there.
What?
Right on that sheet that says moved over
I know.
location.
Well, was that done afterwards, or was that part of the application?
I don't, they obviously have it and it's signed. They had everything. I've had them out there multiple times making sure that I don't do anything I'm not supposed to do. And I conform to everything they asked me to do. And they've been great to work with. Demi, Aaron have been out to my place several times because didn't want to do anything wrong. And that's where we're at. Eric can vouch for that. I've talked to him plenty of times.
This is Mike. Eric, does Demi or anybody provide field reports when they go out to these visits? No?
If you knew the volume of things that we do, the fact that we get photos documenting what they were out there for in a site sketch, that we're doing well.
This is Larry, just a technical, we need to open for public comment. Seeing no public comment, I will close public comment. Okay.
Well, this is Veronica speaking. I understand Ken's concerns with the application in his eyes and in my eyes as well. We understand that you followed the guidance as far as you built the same size structure. It's the same. But a boathouse to boathouse is what Ken and I were looking for. Boathouse to boathouse. Basically, you went from boathouse to lounge space with a bathroom. It's no longer really a boathouse initially. I mean, your initial boathouse didn't have any bathroom. It had some water being pumped in from the lake to clean your fish.
Correct. That's why I'm
It
here.
had no sewer, it had no water structure.
Correct.
I can see that's where it got a little twisted. And of course, it's still a little gray area because your permit specifically said non-sewer and no bedroom. And I personally worked for environmental services. I know how to ask those questions. I know how to document them. I know exactly what to field when a permit comes into me or when I work there. So it's hard for me, knowing when I'm getting an application, again, for whoever's receiving the application, to ask these questions, and if you're not remembering the conversation that has taken place about the sewer. So that's a little concerning for me. How open would you be? I mean, at this point, there might be a possibility that we approve it, but with the condition that all the sewer has to be removed. No water down there, because that's typically what a boathouse is.
So
Not ideal for you.
well, no, I mean, it wouldn't be, but,
Do you understand where we see that it's changed from boathouse?
No, I totally do, and I think, every boathouse was built back in the early 90s for that exactly. So then when they told me I could rebuild it, I was excited, and then they said, yep, you can move it over here, and I didn't have to cut down those big oak and ash trees, and I was like, okay, perfect. And yep, you're totally right. Our family uses it as a lounge and a hangout and to get out of the sun, and I think it was a great improvement to our lake and to tax value and everything else. So I mean, I'm very proud of it. I totally see what you're saying about the permit. I did not see that in there, and maybe I was just excited that I could rebuild it brand new. I wasn't obviously going to put in a sewer without it going through the county, so it wasn't like I was trying to intend to bypass the county, because it all has to be permitted either way. One thing slipped my mind.
Well, I'm just gonna, I think, add on to what Veronica's saying. Clearly, sewering this is not in the picture, but you did change the use. 701 of our ordinance can't expand, enlarge, or alter. You can't change from one non-conforming use to another, which you did do. You went all the way from a storage shed, fish house, to living quarters. So
But this is,
I'm not happy that it ended up what I would consider a water-oriented structure, twice the size we would normally allow, 15 feet from the lake, that you now want to make almost into full living quarters. I can't buy that.
this is Tim. I got a question. Eric, could he have, when he moved that down, could he have put that back over top of the water to run a boat inside of it?
No, that's where Jeff was referring to. The DNR
So-
jurisdiction comes into play, and
Okay.
they typically do not allow.
So there was no way he could keep the same use, and when he was issued the permit, he knew he had to change it to whatever. I mean, to what it
No,
is.
the use is what was he doing inside of it? Inside of it, he was a storage area, and now he's turned it
Just
into living.
From
living
my looking
quarters.
at it, there was a sliding door, he could run a boat in there.
Yeah,
Well, you can't do that where he's at,
yeah, I know.
and he was permitted for it. So, I'm just saying,
No, it was a storage thing, not a boat thing. It was a storage place that he now made into living quarters. That's my view.
okay.
Yeah, so.
Well, this is Tim. I don't think it's living quarters myself. It's more of a gathering area. And I think in my opinion, if a licensed plumber did the plumbing, I'd have no problem with that bathroom there. And I would have no problem with the septic system there somewhere. Mainly because it makes sense if somebody's down there and needs to use the bathroom. And so to me, I would have no problem with that.
This is Veronica speaking. Looking ahead, even though the permit has been issued and it clearly states no living quarters, no bedrooms allowed, and no sewer, and if we get past the sewer section, would a condition still be likely or be applicable that for the future owners, because it is on its own separate lot, that it couldn't be turned into a guest cottage ever, because, you know, that could happen 10, 20, 30 years down the road. And maybe it, I don't know, does even meet the, obviously it doesn't quite meet the size, does it, for that?
So,
Roughly speaking. By 20, it's only 400-ish.
I would have,
I don't think we can lose sight of the fact that our ordinance is very clear, 601.3.
it's within the 700.
Yeah, so,
Any property is allowed one water-oriented structure, 48 square feet, 20 feet back, not designed for human habitation, with no water supply or sewer treatment. That's all, in the baseline, that's all we allow within the shore impact zone on the lake. And in this case, what got built violates all of those. So adding to that, and the use has changed as far as I'm concerned, which is 702. I'm sorry, 701. So that's my view. I'm not supportive of it at all, for what it is and what it could be if we were to go ahead and allow sewer to be run to it. Guest cabin in the future, whatever.
this is Veronica speaking. Ken, I understand entirely how the change has, how the use has changed, and it does kind of make things difficult. But I understand where Tim is coming from, that the boathouse use at one time, obviously because it was halfway in the water, and as we've about briefly, is that those aren't really being used anymore, boathouses. And you can't fix it or enlarge it because the DNR, as already mentioned, is not going to allow you to rebuild on the water either. Yes, the use has changed. It is on its own single lot. And in the future, it could turn into a guest cottage. Legally, it's probably going to meet the requirements because it's a legal non-conforming. And he's doing his best to do things properly. He went to the environmental services to initially, this is what I have. How do I move it? Where can I move it? We've done most of the things appropriately, minus the sewer part. The sewer part is halfway there, not complete. I think that there's ways that we can move forward with this application with some guidance that maybe, like I said, if it is going to be, because it's on its own lot and it is going to have its own sewer structure, there's some potential that it could be that in the future. We don't know, but there's some conditions that we could place in the meantime. But even then again, if it's on its own single lot and there's a structure built, why couldn't it have a guest cottage way in the future? If it's under size requirements.
everybody has
We don't allow guest cottages in
Correct,
the shore
yeah.
impact zone. We don't allow guest cottages in the
Well,
shore
and that's what I was
impact
gonna
zone.
say. If ever it has living quarters, it'd have to be pulled back to meet setbacks. I don't know at this point. I mean, obviously none of us wanna see, guest cottages on the shore impact zone. So, and obviously you already told no living quarters.
Yeah, no.
And there's no
And
bedroom in it,
and
correct?
I mean, would that help you if you put notes into this file that it is not to be used as a guest?
Oh, absolutely. There would be conditions placed on it if it ever meets to go forward with that.
I mean,
so.
I would be fine with that.
The guy in the back, you might wanna call.
Public comment is closed. Sorry.
May I offer us a possible partial suggestion?
I'm sorry, no.
Yeah, you could take input from him if you want to. Right.
I can.
Could you?
Chair's discretion, he's already closed public comment.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I like information being shared, keep it brief.
Eric Ramlow, 26656 Island Air Drive. My suggestion, and it'd be a partial one, is have you considered, instead of a traditional water-based toilet kind of thing, whether you could use like an electric composting toilet that would just basically yield some ash and then maybe use like, disinfectant wipes instead of water for hand wiping and a couple things like that.
That was my next step. Because that's what people did, my neighbor did.
This is Tim speaking. That's good, and it should be a last resort ever being used, in my opinion. So, where I stand is I think that myself, I'm okay with it being sewered. I'm okay with the bathroom, as long as a licensed plumber does that. And we already know that it's a condition you can't have at living quarters, so that's just the way I feel.
This is Larry. I think too, where it's at, I agree with Veronica. It's pretty much a no-brainer that the use was going to change. And to make it functional, and yes, if you have a spot like that you want to, for lack of a better term, have a party on the lake, you don't want to have to be running up to the house to the bathroom all the time. And so to do it correctly, make sure that it is sewered and everything, and not that we're putting a pail in the corner, I would much rather see it done right. Do we run into trouble with overriding the permit that obviously said non-sewered, or is that the purpose of this, to override that with the variance? Okay. All right, so yeah, I guess I would be in favor at this point of doing it correctly. So I would be open to a motion.
I'm gonna make a motion that we deny the application.
This is Mike, I'll second that.
We have a motion to deny the application and a second. Tim, how do you vote?
I vote nay.
We need to
Ken?
go
I
through.
vote aye.
Findings of
Oh, we
facts.
need to go through this finding of facts, yes.
You want some? Okay, I will say, this new boardhouse, changed its use. It is built, within 20 feet, less than 20 feet of the lake, which is a condition for water-oriented structure. And adding a restroom enables, expanded use in the future. Is the property proposed use? No, it's not being used, let me try. Is the property owner proposing to use the property in a reasonable manner not permitted by an official control? The answer is no. Living quarters are not a reasonable use of 15 feet from the lake in a new structure. 3 is a need for a variance due to some circumstances unique to the property and not created by the current or prior property owner. The variance is created by the owner, or the circumstances are created by the owner. Okay, yeah, that's it. Will the issuance of the variance maintain the character of the neighborhood? It's a single-family residence area, so no. And the last is an involve economics, and economics are not, it's yes, economics are not cited in the application as a practical difficulty.
Okay, we have finding of facts with several no's in it. And again, we have a motion and a second. We'll redo this. Tim, how do you vote?
This is Tim, I vote nay.
Ken, how do you vote?
Vote yes.
Veronica?
This is Veronica, I vote nay.
Mike?
Mike, I vote yes.
This is Larry, I vote nay.
Okay, motion has been denied, you can,
Motion has been denied. We're,
or, yeah. can-
Motion failed, so now
Right.
you need to entertain another motion.
Yep.
okay. So motion to deny this variance failed. So we are going to entertain another motion to accept the variance.
This is Tim. I'd like to make a motion to approve this application. Which one is it? 28-V25. With the condition that a licensed plumber do the plumbing and do all the plumbing to code, which he will. Is there any other conditions you would have any idea of, Veronica or Larry? Besides,
the possible, well, as Eric mentioned, that it wouldn't fit the guest cottage because of its location. But we could do the one that if it ever needs, and obviously it's not gonna need rebuilt for a while, but for heaven's sake, if it ever does need rebuilt or whatever, then it could meet setbacks.
no. So if it ever needs to be rebuilt from any natural disaster or
For whatever reason.
burned up or whatever, it would need to meet setback. You be all right with that, Jeff?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want me to do findings or you want to look for a second?
This is Veronica, I second the motion.
Okay, I'll do the findings. Number one is variance in harmony with the general purposes and intent of the official controls. Yes. The structure was moved back from the OHW, from what the original structure was. The use automatically changed because it's no longer over top of water. So, number two, is the property owner proposing to use the property in a reasonable manner not permitted by an official control? Yes. A bathroom near the lake in a swimming area, a gathering area is reasonable. Number three, is the need for a variance due to circumstances unique to the property, not created by the current or prior property owners? Yes. The original boathouse did predate the ordinance, and it did have water to it, with a drain to it.
And it can no longer be rebuilt
Yes.
in the location.
It may have been non-compliant, but it was there, existing. Will the issuance of the variance maintain the essential character of the locality? Yes. All the lots, the locality is made up of lakeside residential recreational use. And I'll adopt finding number 5.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, and finding of facts to support variance application 28V-25. Tim, how do you vote?
This is Tim, I vote aye.
Ken, how do you vote?
Nay?
This is Larry, I vote aye. Veronica?
This is Veronica, I vote aye.
And Mike?
I vote nay.
Okay. Variance has passed. You will get a letter from Environmental Services telling you where to go from here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Variance application 29-V-25 by Joan Luth, part of government lot number 2, section 7, township 145, range 33, Helga Township on Lake Plantagenet, a recreational development lake, parcel 11.07.00200. Applicant is requesting a variance from section 902 of the Shoreline Management Ordinance for proposed grading in a steep slope that exceeds permittable volume. State your name and address, please.
Yes, Joan Luth, 50737 Vinewood Road, Bemidji, Minnesota.
Okay. And a brief description of your variance application, please.
Yeah, so to rebuild the current structure on the existing site with a walkout that would go further toward the lake. That's what the application is for.
Okay. questions from the board? Seeing no immediate questions, I'll open for public comment. Seeing no public comment, I will close public comment.
Mr. Chair, this is Veronica. I have a question for Eric.
Yes.
Eric, since this current structure is a legal nonconforming, is that correct? And if the structure was further away from the ordinary high water mark, could it be built by permit?
It can be built by permit at its current ordinary high watermark setback or an increased ordinary high watermark setback.
Okay. The problem being is the secondary or the lower level walkout also with that extra cubic yards being removed, correct?
That's the problem because that's located in a steep slope.
Okay, so if it was removed back further away from the ordinary high water mark, how many cubic yards could still be removed without a permit? Just,
Up to 10 if you're outside the shore impact zone. And then once you're past the 100-foot setback, it's not you're not limited so long as you're outside of a steep slope, which would be the case on this lot.
okay. Thank you, Eric.
Joan, did you get a chance to meet with a builder at all to look at possibly moving it back and changing the type of build that you're looking to do?
I haven't been able to, no.
Okay.
They haven't been available.
Right. Okay.
Storm recovery.
This is Ken. From what I understand from staff report and the drawings and so on, if this were to be approved, they'd have to dig out to within 41 feet of the ordinary high water mark. So therefore, at least 9 feet, and it would be substantial amount, would have to be moved. So to me, there's two choices. You don't do a walkout, or you move the structure back.
Right, so this is Larry. To me, with the information we have in front of us and the condition of digging out as much of that bank as we have to, as your variance states, I can't go along with this. So I don't know if we want to look at the option of tabling this until we can change the variance request, or if we act on it today and if it does not pass, you have to completely revisit it and come up with something different.
Mm-hmm. Understood.
Okay.
I also agree with what Ken said. I think there are two options moving forward that you stated, and I'm totally aware and in favor of that.
Okay. But that's not the variance we have in front of us. So
Exactly.
we have to act on this one unless you want us to
proposed.
table it, would be the only options that we have. And I'm not sure what that entails as far as time and stuff if we do that.
I was just starting to work on that. The application came in on June 20th, so we've got a maximum of 120 days from that date in which to act on it if we would table it.
So July, August, we could have till the September meeting then, if I'm doing the math in my head quick. 120 days from June 28th.
Probably.
We put it as into October, right? 120 days, about 4 months, so June,
But from June 28th, so July, August,
July,
September.
August, September, October.
Yeah, we would be into October, okay,
She would have until the end of October to
right.
come back.
Let me do the math quick, because it's gonna be close.
Right.
So this is Tim speaking, the structure could be raised so the excavation did not encroach the 50-foot mark.
Yeah, that's true. That's a third option,
That's another option.
yeah.
But again, that's not the option we have in front of us tonight.
Exactly, right.
So,
If you table it, you would have until the September meeting. You wouldn't have enough days to make the October meeting.
okay. Is that acceptable? Does that give
Yes.
you time to,
Yes.
all right. So then, can I move to table this? Or what's the procedure, I guess?
Yeah, you can, and then if there's something different or specific that you want her to do in terms of providing you with new information or an amended application, I would specify what that is. And then if you're targeting like the September meeting, then we would need to get that information by the application deadline for the September meeting, so we have time to process it and get it to you to consider.
I think the basic issue is a new plan that does not infringe beyond the shore impact zone, 50 feet. Which he builds up, moves it back, gets rid of the walkout, as long as she is not requiring any excavation, thank you. Any excavation that goes into the shore impact zone, I think that would be our expectation.
Okay.
If she could do that with permit then.
Yeah. This is Veronica speaking. What-
Possibly.
Yeah. May I ask, what exactly are you still wanting from this application today?
As submitted, it was obvious to me from the site, it's like, oh, this isn't gonna work, as submitted.
Lot
So, yeah, exactly. And so, considering the option of not doing a walkout at all, have the basement for the reasons stated in the application, you saw some of the devastation. And having been through both those storms, it's kind of a nightmare scenario. So not doing a walkout, I still have a basement that's a safe space, right? So, yeah, if that were to happen, okay, with that, if I said, okay, no walkout, right, leave it in its existing spot where it is that possible under a permit?
Yes.
Okay. If I decided, oh, I'd really like to see if I can rejig to retain the walkout, that would mean moving all the structure back and then getting some accurate calculations about what that would mean in terms of earth disturbance if it infringes on the 100-foot. Is that also correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
So if we table this now and she does decide to build by permit only, if everything falls within that, she can withdraw the variance request, correct?
Yes, that would be preferable if you choose to go that permittable route. I would just need an email saying I withdraw variance application
Sure.
29V25. If we don't get that and the board tables it and we don't hear from you, then by the September meeting, they would have to act on the variance application just
As
to
submitted, yeah.
have it be final.
For sure. In the first part of what you just said, is there a deadline for that? Time deadline similar to the September deadline? I'm just thinking about option one, leave it where it is with no walkout. Give you that information of I'm withdrawing the variance. Is there a deadline for that? And then certainly there would be a deadline for the second option of moving it back and relocating it. And
If the board would table the variance and target the September 22nd meeting for that, I would need to know by August 25th if you intended to proceed with the variance with new information,
Got
or if you were
Got it.
going to withdraw it and do things by permit.
Understood. Thank you.
Just a thought, if she decides to want to move it back and still want to walk out, it may not be feasible to not intersect at 50-foot setback at all. Then, but if it's a very minor amount, then you may want to come back with a variance.
Sure.
What I'm saying.
Yeah, understood.
You may find when she takes it back, moves it back, wants to walk out, oh, by the way, when I do it, I gotta, dig in 6 inches into it or something like that, which would be a minor variance, which would be an option to permit.
Yes.
I guess what I'm saying, she shouldn't totally discard it if there's a very minor amount of disruption.
Correct, and she understood that, yes.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, then. Variance 29V.25 is tabled until the August meeting, at latest. September, I'm sorry.
Then I need a second to the motion and
Okay.
vote on it.
I second the motion.
We have a motion and a second to table this variance. Tim, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Ken, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Veronica?
Veronica, I vote aye.
Mike?
Mike, I vote aye.
And this is Larry, I also vote aye. Thank you very much, Joan.
Thank you.
Hold on to 2 of these.
Do you want to hang on to mine?
No. Do your what? I gotta save that. No, I don't have to save that. Maybe I do.
It's
Oh,
August
sorry.
7th.
We still have some miscellaneous, anything?
Just a reminder, Ken, I know is remembering, but for Mike too, they'll be attending the MCIT land use training coming up in a week or two. I'll send Mike info as to when to be here, for when the van will leave. And, today was the deadline for the August meeting, and the agenda is looking to be slightly larger than this month's, but not as large as June, so.
Okay.
That would be the communication I've got for the board.
All right. Any other information? I move to adjourn.
Veronica, I second.
Tim, how do you vote?
Tim votes aye.
Ken, how do you vote?
Ken vote aye.
Veronica?
Veronica, I vote aye.
And Mike?
Mike, aye.
This is Larry, I also vote aye to adjourn.
Good.